Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from Canada, English language, released in the year 2015, directed by Oz Perkins, and this film is called February. So it's also known as The Black Coat's Daughter, so if you can't find it under one title, please look for it under the other. So the story to February, it revolves around an all-girls religious boarding school that has taken the winter break. Now it's snowing everywhere, it's a very harsh sort of environment, but the students have left the school to take some downtime with their family. But unfortunately for the main character, her parents haven't turned up. Now she was looking forward to this day, but because they haven't turned up, she's very disappointed, and she's having to stay behind with an older student whose parents are coming at a later day. So the older student is tasked with looking after the younger one, but as the days go by, the younger girl's behaviour starts to get stranger and stranger, up until the point where this older student believes that her behaviour is becoming dangerous. And so you've also got another student, another woman outside this boarding school who seems to be running away from something, but is directly connected to what's going on. So they don't know if it's a sinister presence inside with them, or in fact this younger student is just starting to lose her mind. So it's all going to boil up to a point of no return, and what that point is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on February. I thought this is an absolutely phenomenal film, and it's a film that does pay respect to the works of European cinema. So it's although it's a film outside of Europe, it still feels like an imitation of that, and I thought it really nailed that imitation that makes European cinema so great. A lot of people have dismissed this film as being all style over substance. Now, each to their own, but I couldn't disagree with that more, is because I think that although it's a very simplistic way of telling its story, there's a lot of complexity in there. And the reason why that complexity can be overlooked is that you have to pay attention from start to finish. This is a movie that demands your wholehearted focus, in that if you miss a scene of dialogue or an exchange of dialogue, you're really going to miss what the film is about, and you're going to really miss the evolution that this story has. And so the best way I can sum this film up is it's like watching a wick that has been lit, and it's slowly progressing to the stick of dynamite, and you know when it hits the stick of dynamite, it's going to be very destructive, but it's that weight to the actual dynamite that's the best part of this film. It's a very slow burn movie, but never does it get boring, is because it always has that tension. You always feel that each and every scene is contributing to something greater, and that it's slowly snowballing up into a very shocking climax. And I thought the climax was just rewards for actually sticking it out. And so I mean, style, as far as style is concerned, this movie was absolutely brilliant. The cinematography was second to none. It's a very dreary atmosphere. It's a very isolated atmosphere. The snow actually feels like it's just caved everybody in and they can't leave. And I thought that symbolised what the character's mentality was as well. So the visuals play a strong role in the mentality of what's going on. And so if you like how The Witch was, where The Witch was all about that slow burn tension, but straight away you know something is horribly wrong, then February is definitely a movie that will remind you of those sorts of films. So it's also a movie that reminded me of Michael Haneke, where it's all about how the scenes are shot. There's very static scenes, the camera's not moving, and so it actually feels like you're just a fly on the wall and you're actually seeing what's going on. There's no cues as to being scared, so whether it's a character walking and then all of a sudden someone walks behind her, but it doesn't have the music to cue what's actually happening, so if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss those scares, and those little scares contribute something to so much bigger, and that's what Michael Haneke does so well, and that's what I thought Osgood Perkins did so well in this film, is that it's all about that slow burn, it's all about that slow progression of the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. So the score was absolutely fantastic. Once again, very reminiscent to The Witch. So if you like The Witch, you're going to really like February, because it does borrow a lot of elements. But the best thing about February is that it's not a direct rip-off The Witch. It's definitely a movie of its own. And so it does have a lot of aspects. It has a lot of possibilities as to what this film is. And this is daring the viewer to make your own interpretation. This is not a movie that's going to hold your hand. It's not a movie that's going to spell everything out for you and dumb it down. It's not a movie that's going to rely on cheap tricks. It's not a movie that's going to have a twist that is going to come out of nowhere. It's a movie that feels as though it's reined in all of its ambition. It's reined in all of its ambition. It's never getting lazy, and it just becomes a very rewarding experience. Now, a lot of people, as I said, have said that this is a very simplistic film. There is nothing to these characters, and I can understand that viewpoint. But as I said, if you really pay attention to three scenes of dialogue in particular, it really indicates what the intentions of Osgood Perkins is. And so the movie can get very confusing, but if you are paying attention, you will understand what is going on, and it really does beg a second viewing. If you didn't feel as though you got anything the first time you saw the movie, go out there and see it again, and it will actually become a lot more clearer. And so if a film demands your attention and demands to have a replay, then it's definitely a good film in my opinion, and films like this don't come along often enough. Now, not only does it look great on a visual basis, I thought the acting was absolutely phenomenal, especially from the main character of Kiernan Shipka. She plays this character who's very innocent at the start, but she feels as though the paranoia of what's happening to her parents is having that effect on her, and slowly she is progressing into something different. As I said, it's the wick that has been lit, and it's slowly progressing to that stick of dynamite, and at the end it does hit you with some pretty shocking moments, but I thought those shocking moments were the reward. Those shocking moments was an indication of that things couldn't keep going the way they were without boiling over, and so it feels like when it hits that dynamite, it does explode. It does promise what it actually delivers, and so because of that, you feel as though you're on edge of your seat. Is that as the situation is slowly getting closer and closer to that dynamite, you're on the edge of your seat. You feel as though, okay, I'm getting really uncomfortable here, but I can't take my eyes off what's going on. And so not a lot could be happening in the film, but it's all about that slow psychological tension. It's the tension that's engulfing the viewer and strangling all the air out of their system to the point where you feel, okay, at the end of the film, I'm a little bit exhausted here, and I really, really liked what I saw. So the end of the film, right at the end, there is a scene that I thought was very, very thought-provoking. I thought it was a very sad film, especially for this main character played by Kiernan Shipka. Then you've also got Emma Roberts, who does a very good job, but all the supporting cast really feel like they're playing second fiddle and allowing this Kiernan Shipka's character to really shine. So it's her movie, and I thought she really knocked it out of the park, and she helped Osgood Perkins create a film that I thought was absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, my biggest problem to the film is a very miniature problem, but it's a problem that's going to put a lot of people off, is the fact that it does require a lot of attention. So it's not a movie for the casual viewer. It's not a movie, if you're a fan of Friday the 13th, you're really not going to like this one, is because it's not a movie that I would say you can really enjoy with a bowl of popcorn with a group of friends. It's not that type of film. It's a film that really demands your attention, so you have to be in a very specific mood to actually watch the film. You have to be very alert to everything that's going on, and once you actually understand and you actually can pick what's going on, I just thought it was an absolutely fantastic feeling you get in seeing a movie that does pay respects to the works of Michael Haneke. So if you like that sort of stuff, then I would highly recommend you check out February. I thought this is a phenomenal film, and it's a film that I'll no doubt be watching again. So overall, I'm going to give this film 4.5 stars. Fantastic stuff. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next, thank you for watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.